Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, all praise, all honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Urchak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I've got this article pulled up from endtimeheadlines.org, my favorite website, and it's going into something that's happening here currently in Atlanta. And it says two Fanta soda patients arrive at Emory Hospital in Atlanta. Both test positive, one symptomatic. So one of them actually has symptoms, and I guess the other one is asymptomatic, so not showing symptoms. But it says, according to a report from Fox 5 Atlanta, two passengers from that ship that was out there who tested positive for Fanta soda for the MV Hondias cruise ship landed in Atlanta on Monday morning as part of an intensified effort to manage the ongoing outbreak. The patients touched down at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport around 9 a.m. aboard a specifically arranged flight from Omaha to Nebraska, because most of them are in Nebraska. I think I saw 23 patients. I think 17 of them are U.S. citizens, something like that. But you can see they are publicizing this and putting this in the news and trying to build up the fear. They're delicately building up the fear because, most people are onto them and understand that the current powers that be are just liars. And they are. They are the biblical Edomites, and they're known as liars. They're lying about being the people of the Lord so that they can have a fake claim to that land, in which having that claim to that land, or being in the Lord's land, is why World War III is about to start, to get you out of that land. So none of this works out for them, but they think it's going to. It says they were promptly transferred to waiting ambulances equipped with protocols reminiscent of those used during the Ebola response and rushed to Emory University's Hospital's Serious Communicable Diseases Unit on Clifton Road. Aerial footage captured the careful unloading process as medical teams moved the individuals inside for specialized care. And the scenery should be reminding you of 2019 and that whole build-up that they did before they finally locked us down in February or March of 2020. They're running back the same play. It says Emory University's hospital issued a statement confirming the arrivals. Working in coordination with local, state, and federal partners, Emory University Hospital's Seriously Communicable Disease Unit has received two passengers from the MV Hondias cruise ship following a Fanta soda outbreak on board. One symptomatic patient is receiving care in the biocontainment unit, while an asymptomatic close contact is under evaluation and monitoring. The hospital emphasized its role in the national network for handling high consequence infectious diseases. And it's also to note this normally with this Fanta soda thing, it normally doesn't go human to human, but we got lucky and this one actually goes human to human pretty easily, and it's highly deadly. The first one was going back to the sea from 2019. That was like a 1% mortality rate, but this is something like a 41% mortality rate, at least from things I'm seeing. This is, Esau is using this to his advantage for something, who knows where it even came from. We all know that, things, it all comes from Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but he uses the wicked as his sword, which the wicked are the Edomites, so-called white people, including the tiny tops. And they're it's looking like they're using both the war and this Fanta soda thing that's out, as well as economic downfall, to bring in their MOTB, because that's ultimately what they want is to collapse this society completely. And so you have to collapse it economically, you have to collapse it spiritually and physically. So war, economic collapse, pestilence, these all do it so that they can bring in their new system that they want to bring, which is not going to work out. Their NWO, their technocracy, it's not going to work out. They are unprofitable rulers, and the Lord He's using them to bring themselves down. Just finishing up the last little bit of this, it says Georgia health officials noted that 2 other state residents who have been aboard the ship, really, this doesn't matter. This is coming. The wicked are bringing it, and knowing that they're the wicked, we have to keep them under this Scopeo. We have to keep an eye on them because we can't be deceived by their wicked devices, and this is one of their wicked devices. So this was brought out. The brother Hacham and GMS Atlanta put this in the group. I'm seeing other people posting this too. I even saw Dabu777 post it. But Hanta, or Fanta, I should have said. Yeah, Hanta, meaning in Hebrew. It says in Hebrew slang, the term Hanta, or Hanta, written, is a colloquial word meaning scam, lie, nonsense, fraud, or rubbish. That is what this devil brings all the time. So it's great that he's actually bringing this out, or that he named it after this. And look, his fact finders right here. When you look it up, well, this term was recently sparked CTs linking it to the Fanta soda due to the name similarity. The thing is actually named after the Hantan River in South Korea, where the first strain was isolated in the 1970s. The linguistic coincidence between the slang and the name is etymologically irrelevant for the origins. Yeah, he's always got his fact checkers there, but this is the same devil that plans things out centuries ahead. He's had World War III planned out for a long time, since Albert Pike at least, in which Yahweh Shem Shai has had World War III planned out for a long time, since the beginning, since before the beginning. But this devil has had this planned out, so who's to say he can't just name things what he wants to? And they think the cattle, the goyim, are so silly that will never catch on. So yeah, it makes sense that they would name it after this, and it's within their plans. We look at these card games that they have, and so you have CDC right there and bringing out stuff. You have this within the cards, which is funny. This APIDEMIC and that big Q word in these cards. And the ultimate goal is population reduction. And they had that on what? On their guidestones that they destroyed a couple years ago here in Georgia. But you see these things, and it's been in the plans. You see this one, alarmist. And what does this fantasy soda issue come from? Or at least they claim it comes from rats. These things have been planned out. What else? I'll pull this up because this is supposedly what it looks like. And you see them looking at the rat down there. And so keep that in mind, because now this, we saw this at the beginning of the year with the Economist issue, The World Ahead 2026. And so you see down here on the right, the guy is he's kicking a soccer ball. So the whole world is a soccer ball that he's kicking, which, yeah, we have World Cup coming this year. But I think that this looks a lot like this. And then you look at the image more and you see all these pills in here. You see syringes, and supposedly these companies already have the VAC, that thing, the jabby jab that they want to give you. They already have it. And so who's to say this wasn't planned out? And knowing the devil, it was. And look, also coming up on America's 250, or Babylon's 250, and then right above that cake you have arms and chains under arrest. So are lockdowns coming? We will see. And I'm thinking we will. Yeah, but getting to the scriptures. Actually, let's go here to this one. I want to see Second Corinthians, the second chapter, and verse 11. It says, "Lest Satan get an advantage over us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." And Satan has a spiritual demon. Satan has counterparts. He has a people here on this earth, and they are the Edomites, so-called white people, including the tiny tops. Not every single one of them, but for the most part, that is who that nation is. The nation of Edom are so-called white people, including the tiny tops, and they've scattered themselves throughout the four corners of the earth through their colonizing and theft and robbery, and they have hidden themselves amongst the people. So they're going to look like all of the other nations as well. But for the most part, so-called white people, including the tiny tops, are the Edomites, the biblical Edomites. And then I was saying that not every single one of them, which, no, because some of them, through their father's lineage, or some so-called white people through their father's lineage, quote unquote white people, through their father's lineage, actually go back to an Israelite, who are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And if they go back through their father's lineage to an Israelite, then it doesn't matter what they look like. They just are under the appearance of an Edomite, but they're truly an Israelite. Just to get that straight, but Satan's people are these Edomites, and that's who is in power currently. The earth is given into the hands of the wicked, covers the faces thereof. And that's so-called white people, including the tiny tops, and they've placed themselves up as the Lord, as the Son, as the angels, as the Lord's people. But they are not. That's the devil. These are Satan's people. And they're constantly trying to they're constantly trying to trick people and bring them down. And this is one of their plots, because they want control and power over this earth forever. But it's just not in the cards for them, because they would destroy the earth. They destroy every being on this earth, and even themselves and the planet itself. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us being the Israelites, and that being in particular the elect of Israel. He has his pits that he digs for us, primarily many different ways, from the woman to his different laws that he makes, to just seem them trying to seem like they're him going crouching and trying to seem like a good person. These are all different ways that he can take advantage of us. But the Lord is revealing him. He's revealing him to the world, to where people, not even just the elect, everyday people, even Esau himself, can see that Esau is the devil, because they're being revealed, and then they will be judged. But first, they're going to, let loose their sword. They're going to bring a lot of death to this earth. And Fantasota is one of the ways in which they could bring a lot of death World War III will be another way, which is really Yahweh Bashem Shai bringing this death. Because it's the end. This place goes out in violence. It says, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And this is looking like one of his devices. It's not just a organically occurring issue. This is something they're bringing to bring down the system so that they could ultimately bring their MOTB. And we're not ignorant of it. He's running the play back again. Running it back. Second Esdras 15 and 49. And this was speaking to Asia, but these plagues are coming to the whole entire earth. It's a time of trouble such as never been before. And you can imagine this pestilence being released will bring heaviness on this earth, especially if the mortality rate is as high as I'm seeing. And so we have to have protection under Yahweh Bashem Shai for ourselves, for our families, to get through these dangerous times that are coming, these times of evil. 2nd Esdras 15 and 49. I will send plagues upon thee, widowhood, poverty, famine, sword, and pestilence, to waste thy houses with destruction and death. The Lord's bringing plagues just like he did in ancient Egypt before he delivered the Israelites. Then he delivered all of Israel and even some extras. But this time he's only going to deliver 1/3 of Israel, the elect of Israel. 2/3 will be cut off and die on this side thereof, but they'll be reborn into the kingdom in a righteous mind. But only 1/3 of Israel, the elect, will make it through this and be changed and get the glorious bodies and have the law, statutes, commandments put within their inward parts and not have to taste death on this side, and to see the downfall of our enemies and to see the salvation of Yahweh Shai, seeing the return of Yahweh Shai. These are great things that are about to come on both sides. 2nd Esdras 15 and 49, I will send plagues upon thee. Yeah, going back to the plagues of Egypt, ancient Egypt. He brought those then, and he's going to bring it again. It says it'll no more be talked of that he delivered the children of Israel from ancient Egypt, but delivered them from the land of the north. Paraphrasing. This deliverance is going to trump the ancient Egyptian deliverance, which means these plagues are going to trump the ancient Egyptian plagues. This is something serious that is coming to this earth. This is widowhood. Isaiah 47 says, these two things will I visit upon thee one day, the loss of children and widowhood. That's coming to the whole earth, but particularly to Babylon the Great, aka America. This is speaking to Asia, so Asia's going to get it too. Europe is within Asia. Russia's within Asia. China's within Asia. The so-called Middle East is within Asia. There's a lot of death coming. This is poverty. The Lord's crashing the economy and this financial system. This is famine. They're already talking about shortages of fertilizer, shortages with the logistics of traveling, of getting food around with the closure of the straits. Famine is rising, and this is also caused by the financial collapse as well, and the devaluing of the currency, or inflation, which will eventually get hyperinflation, just like the Weimar Republic. The sword, modern day sword's the gun, but really anything made to bring hurt on people. And pestilence. This Fanta soda thing is a pestilence. And I wouldn't say it's the only pestilence. I'm sure there's other pestilences to come. This is a time of trouble such as never been before. It says to waste thy houses and individual houses, but this is also going to waste the houses of the Gentiles. It says, against this family, against this house do I bring judgment. Micah 2. This is going to leave them neither root nor branch. Because this is the end of the Edomites, with destruction and death. That is what's coming. The Lord's going to break down this society, break down this kingdom. And he's going to, with death, but he's going to build up the kingdom of heaven. And he's doing that currently. We're watching the fall of the wicked and the rise of the righteous. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of it that follows. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. Stay under Yahweh Bashem Awashai, because these times are evil. I'd like to give all glory, all praise, all honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.